The White Duck, page 11. After the great misfortune, and it was so natural you should have, why, it was only by a hair's breadth your father escaped being dragged into these horrible affairs. And you thought I had a feeling against you because of this? What can have you put such a thing into your head? I know you had treasures, for I had it from your father himself. Father? So, what was that why you never wrote to me? Not a single word. Yes. Not even when you decide to go in for photography? Your father said it was no use writing to you about anything. No, perhaps he was right, but tell me, Hjalmar, do you feel satisfied with your position? Oh yes, certainly. I really can't say no, I'm not. At first, as you will understand, it all seems too strange to me to be placed amid such absolutely new surroundings. But then everything else was so changed too. The great overwhelming misfortune with my father, the same and the scandalous treasures. Yes, I know. I couldn't dream of going on with my studies. There wasn't a shilling to spare. On the contrary, we were rather in debt, mostly to your father, I fancy. So I thought it best, just with one wrench, to cut myself off from the old conditions and relations. It was your father, principally, who advised me to do this, and as he helped me so much. Did he? Yes, of course. You know he did. Where should I have to got the means to learn photography? To set up a studio and make a start? That cost money, And father paid for all this? Yes, dear friend. Didn't you know? I understood him to say he had written to you about it. Not a word of what he had done. He must have forgotten it. We have only exchanged business letters with one another. So it was father? Yes, sure enough. He never wished people to know about it, but it was he. And it was he too, who made it possible for me to get married. But perhaps you don't know about that either. No, I certainly did not. My dear Hjalmar, I can't tell you how happy all this makes me, and how it pains me. Perhaps, after all, I have wronged father in certain things. For this shoe he has a hurt. You see, it shows a kind of conscience. Yes, or whatever you like to call it. No, I have no words to tell you how glad I am to hear this of father. And so you are married, Hjalmar. That's more than I shall ever manage. Well, I hope you are happy in your marriage. Yes, I am indeed. She is as bright and brave a woman as man could desire. And she is not quite without education either. No, of course not. No, life is an education, you see? Then the daily intercourse with me, and then there are some gifted men who often come to see us. I assure you, you wouldn't know Gina and again. Gina? Yes, dear friend. Didn't you remember her name was Gina? Her name was Gina? Why, I know nothing. But don't you remember she was in service here for a time? Is it Gina Hansen? Of course, it's Gina Hansen, who looked after the house during the last year that mother lay ill. Certainly that is so, but dear friend, I'm quite certain your father wrote you I had got married. Yes, he certainly did, but not that. Yet, well, wait a moment. Perhaps he did know. I come to think of it. but father always writes me such short letters. Now tell me, Hjalmar. Very simple. Gina didn't stop here long, for there was so much confusion here at that time. Your mother's illness, Gina could not see to everything, so she gave not notice to left. That she was a year before your mother's death, or maybe the same years. It was the same year, and I was up at the works at the time. Then, afterwards,